and then you'd have a cutting wire for free, unless you don't have Suji or whatever. Yeah? Anyway, but normally it's made of some kind of like braided wire, which will eventually fray anyway. So then you just kind of like do that. Like this is way more clay than you need for the first project. And when you're done, seal up the clay, just do that, spin it, and then put it on the side. If it's your personal clay, then you just label it and stick it in your cubby hole, which is one of those things over there, or there's some over there. Oh, that's a mirror. And there's in the back area. So then you cut it. Oh, I forgot. If it's dirty, you just do this. So remember, and I said, don't like blow it, don't like fly it on the ground or anything like that. Just kind of push it out of the way. Like there's hard, it's pretty clean, so I'm not really that worried about it. But I'm trying not to make a huge amount of dust. And then stick it in the trash.
Oops.
And I'm putting my hand low so any dust particles are floating inside the trash can instead of like out of the trash can. And then you just smack it down. Stack the other one on top. Smack it. And then you make a log. And so once you have the log, you notice that there's a curlicue coming up. So for those of you who read the Kumu Repo, start thinking about that now, because we talked about it earlier too. Right. And then as you go, like at the first few moves, I actually made like an even log where it was like kind of like a giant burrito. So I'm gonna turn this into a cone. And as I go, I'm actually picking it up and then rotating it slightly to the left. And I'm doing it this way because if we were using a potter's wheel, I'm trying to get the clay to line up with the direction of the potter's wheel. And if you are opposite-handed and you're going to do like Japanese style pottery, which goes the opposite direction, then you rotate the other direction, if that makes any sense. And so, and you can do this pretty fast. And what happens when you're doing this is that when the clay comes, it's actually made of a giant pile of dust. I don't know if this is clay dust. I think it is, because it says stoneware on it. But it's made of this, and they mix it with water. And so all the clay is like, all the atoms of the clay, the molecules of the clay are all kind of kapokahin out of line, and they're going all different directions. But then there's all these positive and negative things in the molecules and electrons and whatever, atoms. And then when you wedge it, you start to line them all up and make them stronger and stronger. Another thing that the wedging does is get rid of air bubbles. So it's the opposite of when you knead bread. Because usually when you're kneading bread, you're like putting air in. So now I'm trying to get air out and begin aligning the clay particles so they all go in one direction. And it's the same thing that happens when you like get a piece of metal, heat it up, fold it, pound it with a hammer. What I said, super strong, is the same thing. You're aligning the molecules so they all go in one direction. Hopefully I'm saying this correctly, because if you post it online and people actually believe me, maybe. All right, so you do this about 20 times. There's other people who do it better than me, so you can watch them on TV instead. If you do it too much, it's gonna start losing plasticity. And so I got this little lump here, so I'm gonna slow down, get rid of the lump. And you can use a smaller thing to start on your own. Okay, so now I gotta cut a piece to make the pinch pot. So now, did you think about the kumulipo when I was doing that? Does that make sense what I was saying?
The what?
Kumulipo, we talked about that coin from Hawaiian stuff. That was the creation there. The first part was the hooting over. And you're starting from like darkness, you have nothing. And then she said, I wish I had like the computer screen so we can actually beam it on the wall and then see it. Because then it would make more sense, yeah? Oh, shoots, I'm not even in the picture.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we totally screwed that up. I was like over there and then had that in the end. Sorry. I guess we gotta do it again, at least for them.
Yeah, it's here.
Oh yeah, I got the film. Yeah, I know, but they're watching. Hopefully, okay. So
They look confused anyway.
Yeah.
They don't have clay yet.
do you guys have clay? Just nod. No? Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was like, we didn't pay attention to what you could see. So you make a ball. Okay. You just kind of keep patting it until you get pretty close to a ball. This will make a giant cup, by the way, because this is a lot of clay. You make a ball. And then you make a pico. So there's a little nivet there, so I'm going to turn that into a pico. And then in the kumulipo, they talk about getting hapai. I don't think they say it that way. Hanao, yeah. And so you slowly expand it. So you take your finger. There's other ways of doing this. And then as I'm twisting, I twist the same amount each time. And I put equal amount of pressure every single time that I push it, so that the walls stay even. So, because one of the primary goals here is to get as even a wall as possible. And why? I took way too much clay. This is giant. This would be like the kind of coffee cup you could get like, what do you call it? Drunk on caffeine on.
Like a soup mug.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. You
soup
could
mugs.
actually make yeah, it might be kind of too giant. So I'm trying to get it super even. And then I kind of want the bottom of the clay and the walls to be about the same for one. I guess for this first one. And then eventually you'll make a second one that has a thicker bottom. And I really wish I had like a computer. I wanted them to give me a whiteboard, but they didn't yet. Or like a blackboard, which is more traditional, and I won't care if I get like clay all over it. I guess I could draw with clay on the wall. Okay. So I actually went a little bit too big because I'm having a hard time getting my finger in there. And now my hands are getting tired. I haven't done this for so long. Yeah, so it kind of looks like that, yeah. So this is a little bit too fat. I was trying to shoot for like a 1/4 inch or so of thickness. So I'll keep doing that. Right. So. Does that look like about a 1/4 inch? Something like that, yeah?
I don't know.
So pretty close to that, I think. I feel a giant weight on the bottom, so I have to work on the bottom still yet. And you can kind of sort of tell because you can actually feel the difference of thickness. So you can go like this, and then you can go like that, and go like, oh, it's too fat. And then at some point, you might have to use a tool or like something so that you can actually reach down there if you want to make something really big. And then once you're done, or like say like the class is gonna end, right, and you don't have enough time to keep going, like you gotta get a bag. And I did bring some extra bags, but they're kind of small. Then you put it inside like that so that it doesn't dry up. Yeah? If you're gonna go for a long time, like say over the weekend, it's not that long, or if you're gonna have a long weekend especially, you might want to tie up the bag, or for an super extended amount of time, you can get a wet paper towel, have it just be slightly moist, not super moist, and put it in there with it. And you just gotta learn how long it takes, yeah, because like this is the first time I've been in an air-conditioned playroom, so I don't know how that's gonna work. I've always been in a playroom that was like open to everything, and then we just use regular air for like, and then yeah. So this is like the first time. So I have no idea how long it takes. Somewhere is a clay shelf for storing stuff. I think it's over here. Oh, somebody bring that thing. Can we twist that thing
Computer?
over here? And so you would store it like on there. You could put your name on it, or we could somehow like, we might be able to label these things so that we can get,
Just some Scotch tape.
yeah, we might be able to just assign you guys a spot if we can find enough space. I think there is, and that would be like where we store things that are in progress, I guess. So for those of you who are at home, probably the best thing would be to like work in an area that you can use a towel, a wet towel to clean up, to do the final cleanup. So like a kitchen maybe is okay, or preferably outside of your house, so that any mess is like outside. And again, do not ever use a vacuum to clean up a ceramics mess that does not have a HEPA filter on it. That's like kind of critical, because it'll spew out clay dust everywhere. Clay dust never ever settles for a long time. It'll stay there all day. And then, so that means you'll be breathing it all day. And it does contain silica, which is not good for you. Your lungs can't process it. I think that's it.